friends, my name is Kira Snow and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the highlights and some of the low points from RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 7 Episode 8. So first things first, we're going to get a count of how many stars each queen has currently. So in the lead, we have Jada with 3, Trinity with 2, Evie with 2, Jinx with 2, and Shea, Monet, and Raja with only 1 star. So it looks at this point like Jada is in the lead, and there's quite a few girls who still only have 1 star. And the main challenge this week is an acting challenge called Santa's School for Girls that apparently RuPaul came up with in an ayahuasca trip, which I don't know if that's true, but that sounds about right. So the directing will be done by Jinx Bravo. I never heard of her, but I'm not really one that's into filmmaking and such. But I was really impressed with the way she directed the queens. And so my thoughts on the overall performance was I thought it was extremely entertaining. There were some queens who are not really Oscar winning in my opinion. Not all of them had superb acting skills, but I think they all really put in a lot of effort, which was great. I did think it was really nice that RuPaul gave Monet some extra direction, because Monet was trying to use this baby voice that was like his not working, and in the past she uses it and it just, I'm not into it. It just comes across as really fake. So I'm really glad that RuPaul was like, deepen your voice, Monet, and then she took that direction really well. But I did think that Monet's character, she did like a reasonably good job, but I think Monet could have taken it even further and delivered some of those jokes in a different way that would make the character come more alive, and then the jokes would have been funnier if her delivery was better. But I think she's still working on her acting. She's not a bona fide actress like Miss Vivian or Jinx, but I am glad to see that she is kind of like elevating her skills, especially with the direction of RuPaul and the director, Jinx Bravo. So I thought this challenge was a really great opportunity for some of the less not so acting queens to learn more about acting. So I thought that was really cool. So who did I think was the strongest in the acting challenge? I would say the strongest were definitely Vivian and Raja. Honorable mention definitely goes to Shea. She was a very believable character throughout, and I did really like her attitude as like, oh, the kind of bratty, I guess, or very like, yeah, like bratty teenage girl who doesn't believe in Christmas. I thought she played that character really well. And then I think Raja did a really great job being gothy. She was an absolute amazing goth queen. Every time she made a joke, I was really into it and I thought it was hilarious. Vivian, I totally agreed with Jinx Bravo that even when Vivian was off screen, you kind of missed her a little. She was just such a lively, charismatic character and got a lot of airtime, which is good so that, you know, she was able to showcase her talents. But the only reason she got that role was mainly because she was nice to Trinity. So it kind of shows that in this game, things are really playing out based on your relationships with other queens. Because another thing is Jinx, her role was very small, but she did make the most of it. I would venture to say she made too much of it because she was getting a little bit distracting at some points when I think, you know, it would have been better for her to be more like muted, because for the whole production, it's like you don't want some of those smaller characters to be stealing the spotlight when others should be like stepping it up and having more impact. For example, because Jinx was so strong, it kind of made Evie look a little bit weaker, even though Evie's character was supposed to be a little bit more of one of the interesting characters. But because, you know, Evie wasn't as loud or as obvious with her emotions as Jinx, it kind of made the whole thing a little bit worse, I think. I think Evie was doing really well for like her abilities, but I think she's just not quite on the same level as Jinx. I think Jinx could have done more with Evie's character than Evie did with Evie's character. So it is what it is. I did think Evie did a fine job, but I think there was more potential for that character. That's what I'll say. And I have some questions prepared this time. One of my prompting questions is, who out of all the queens has the best confessional so far? Without a doubt, by far, I would kind of say Trinity has the best confessionals. Every time Trinity is like giving her opinion on the confessionals, it's just hilarious. She has solidified herself as a comedian in my book because I live for her confessionals. And then next question would be, do the queens with 1 star still have a shot to make it to the finale, in my opinion? So I definitely think the queens with 1 star still have a shot. The queen with the most stars is 3, so any one of the queens with 1 star still have a chance. They just really have to bring it. Like, they can't be lazy in the background, not trying. They really will have to like step it up to get more stars. It kind of seems like Jada has been slaying consistently. So I think at this point the judges kind of have like a little bit of like favorites a little bit, because it's very clear that they love Jinx, Jada, and Vivian. Those are always like subject to be like in the top, but some of the other ones like Shay and Monet kind of seem to be like fading into the back a little bit. And I think Monet and Shay even noticed that themselves. They're like, we were the ones who were the first out to get the first star, and now we're just kind of like, hey. I love that moment when Monet and Shay are like, we're just kind of like, and then yeah, so the queens also discuss about the math. So mathematically, in order for one of them to get to the top, to get into the finale and get 3 stars, they would have to be in the top basically both next week and the week after that. So I think these queens are really thinking about, you know, the competition, and it is getting tight at this point, so the stakes are pretty high. And then for the runway, the category is Knitty Knitty Bang Bang. So that's a pretty funny name. I thought it was kind of hilarious. Yeah, I can't really say much. But anyways, I'm not trying to get canceled here. So some of the tops of the runway that I thought who did the best were Evie and Trinity. Evie's was the yellow pants that kind of like faded into this beautiful orange color. And she dip dyed it herself. And I really liked her hair. She kind of had like big spokes, like freaking bicycle on her head, and these little like yarn balls. And I thought it was just really creative. And then actually another good one was Trinity, she had this purple look, and she had cheetah print hair, a little bit cheetah print by her neck, and then she had this little doll she was carrying. So I think Trinity worked with a designer to have that look made, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. Hers was actually one of the top ones, but you know, given that Trinity didn't make it herself, it kind of, you know, shows that Evie has more skill because Evie made that herself, whereas like Trinity kind of worked with a designer to make it. But nonetheless, it was a good choice for Trinity to choose that look. And I did think Raja's was really good. I didn't quite understand it. Maybe I don't have the correct fashion palette. And whose was the weakest look? I would have to say Jinx's was probably the weakest look because it's kind of the same silhouette she always does. Basically a gown. Yes, it was shiny. Yes, she did acting, but the runway is not about acting. That's a small portion of the runway. A larger portion of the runway is the actual outfit. So I think Jinx could have shown a little bit more creativity there. Unfortunately, she didn't. So that's why she's the weakest. All right. And then in the top two, we had Vivian and Raja. Did I think they got the top two right? Yes, I did. And we have the lip sync smackdown. I saw Vivian. She slipped a little when she was doing a stunt. And I felt so bad for her because Vivian's my girl, but I thought it was pretty kind of funny, like one of those moments when it just brings humanity to the queens. You're like, oh, they're people too, you know. And it kind of made sense because she was pouring a water bottle on herself, so it was probably extra slippery. But I'm so glad she like was able to kind of like quickly like save it. Like she just did another twirl and then made it like, you know, just kept going. She wasn't really acting super phased by it. So I was really happy that, you know, she powered through it. And then who ends up being the winner is Raja. And Raja is having so much fun with deciding who to block. She's meandering around, intimidating the queens. I thought it was funny how Raja was really excited to get the chance to block someone. And who she chooses to block is Jada. And, you know, I think Jada didn't seem super angry about it. I mean, she's in the lead, so if anybody like has to be blocked, it makes the most sense to be her. I did think it was pretty strange that in the workroom, like everybody was like, oh, Jada has the most, and then Jada was like, well, if you think about it, if someone has the most, why would you even block them? Like her logic was not making sense. And I think Monet called her out on it. So I'm living for Monet's humor. Like during the downtimes, like in the workroom or like when they're not like filming a challenge, Monet is like super hilarious. Like probably like more when she's relaxed, but like when it's like during an actual challenge, like the Santa's School for Girls, I think Monet kind of struggles to bring like the comedy truly out. Also wanted to say that I will not be making a video for episode 7 just because I have like a little bit of like a throat issue like last week and it's still kind of lingering, so trying to just give myself a little bit more time to recover. Thank you guys for understanding. All right, that does it for this episode. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like if you liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!